Yeah, so TRAC is the Teaching and Research Assistants Union of Concordia. So we're there to represent and defend the rights and interests of teaching assistants and research assistants. That also include markers, lab demonstrator, tutorial leader, and examination.
Okay, so how have things been going since October?
It's been going well, actually. So at the negotiation table, we've made some progress. However, we haven't gotten to the monetary part of the discussion. So contracts right now are still being split, which means that some people are making less money for the same number of hours for the same exact job description, and that is a problem. So we're asking Concordia to ban contract splitting. So today is the Board of Governors of Concordia, so we're just here to raise awareness, so to tell the governors, to pay attention to what is happening. We want the negotiator from the other side to have the leverage, to have the wiggle room in order to make sure that this good collective agreement that we're negotiating right now can be signed. So we've made progress on the grievance process. So what that means is that before people, they had only a certain time period to grieve. So let's say they have a problem with a professor, let's say just harassment, for example, they would have had to grieve against that person during the length of the contract, which puts you in a horrible position. I mean, the person is your boss, and then you have to contest them. So what we successfully had is that now the delays is going to start after the end of your contract. So if you have a contract for a fall semester, an issue happened in September, you still have until January in order to grieve. But it's actually a very important improvement for those who need it. So we don't have that many grievances each year, but for the people who need to grieve, it is a very important. We've also asked that the professor and the TA have to meet during the semester in order to assess the number of hours and also to assess the work that's been done. So right now, a lot is on the shoulder of the TAs to not only track their hours, making sure they work in a proper manner, but then they don't know sometimes what the professors expect. So we want to do a good job, and we want to make sure that we're doing it in accordance to what the professor is asking. So there's going to be meetings in order that where the professor has to ask the student or the TAs, how are you doing with your hours? But by having it mandatory, it's going to improve our capacity to better communicate on that. Also, we've agreed with the employer to establish a committee that will look into the allocation of hours in order to fight these unpaid extra hours and this overworking. So it's going to be a committee made up by the employer and by the union, and it's going to finish its work in 2018 in order to provide some recommendation and to see if there are a structural solution that can be applied. Some departments, it's going better than other departments. So let's look in these departments, why it's going well, and how could this be used.
Why do you think there's such a difference between the departments?
Well, departments have a lot of autonomy in Concordia. That's not necessarily bad. However, we should make sure that we know what is happening in the department, that the employer knows what's happening in the department, and that where it's especially problematic, that it can be fixed. So that's also one of the mission of that committee, because we believe that each hour work should be an hour paid. That's not only the law, but that's also a principle.
Okay. And do you know how much longer it's going to go on for, probably?
Well, we'll see. So we'll get to the monetary part of the negotiation in February. That's 99% sure. And then we'll see how it goes from there. So I can say when it's going to finish. We'll take the time it needs. But if it could be this semester, it would be good. But we're not going to sign a bad agreement because the finals are coming. If it needs to go until the fall, it will.